our cooking for one is going to be homemade chicken noodle soup. For that, we're going to need our rotisserie chicken. If you don't have rotisserie chicken, cook you up a chicken breast or chicken thighs, whatever kind of chicken you have to go in it. This is 4 ounces. You're going to need some baby carrots, not the whole bag, just a few. You're going to need some wide egg noodles or a pasta of your choice. You're going to need some onion, minced garlic, and of course you're going to need some chicken broth. This is homemade chicken broth that I made from that rotisserie chicken. I'm going to be using probably about 1.5 cups of that. Our seasonings are going to be black pepper, onion powder, celery salt, bay leaves, parsley flakes, and salt. The salt and pepper is going to be to your taste, so keep that in mind while we're cooking. Okay, before we get started cooking this, I did leave out a couple of seasonings in the introduction part of this. You are going to need some oregano and some thyme. Okay, we're going to start this off. I've already put 1 cup of chicken broth and 1 cup of water into my pot. I'm going to go in with a 2nd cup of chicken broth. So that's 3 cups of liquid at this point. 2 cups of chicken broth, 1 cup of water. We're going to leave it at that for now for our liquid. If we see that we need to add some more later, then we can always add some more later. That is not a problem. Next, we're going to start by adding our seasoning in. You can go ahead and turn your stove eye on. I'm going to turn mine on a medium heat. We're going to start with a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. And about 1/8 of a teaspoon of oregano. I'm going to add some celery salt in. I'm not going to measure this. I'm not using celery in mine. You can add celery to this. That's perfectly fine. But I'm not a big celery fan. So I don't mind the taste. I just don't like the actual celery itself. So I'm just going to add a little celery salt to mine. So I'll be careful when I add my actual salt in, not to over salt it. I'm going in with a little bit of onion powder. Right here I'm just seasoning to taste, so just a little bit. I'm going to add my black pepper, and use however much pepper you want to use. I like a lot of pepper in mine. We're going to add a little bit of salt. Next up, we're going to put our minced garlic. And you're going to use about 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. Just kind of stir that around. Okay. Now we're going to add in our chicken. That was our rotisserie chicken. Then I'm going to add my onion. I like a good bit of onion in mine. I'm just going to take it. You can cut it however you want to. I'm just slicing mine up. You can dice it. You can slice it. I'm going to use this entire 1/4 of an onion in mine. It's going to give it a lot of flavor. And then I'm going to put my carrots in. I have cut up, these were baby carrots. If you have whole carrots, just cut up 1 whole carrot or 2 whole carrots, however much you want. But I'm trying to give you a basic recipe to follow, but this is kind of a do your own thing in a sense. So this was 6 baby carrots. We're going to dump those in. We're going to put a bay leaf in. Bay leaf, I find, gives, if you don't have it, that's fine. You don't, there's no law that says you have to use a bay leaf. But I find that a bay leaf gives your chicken noodle soup an excellent flavor. So we're just going to add one. I'm going to leave my salt and pepper sitting out because I'm sure that I will need to make adjustments in the flavor. And I have not added my parsley flakes yet. We'll do that in just a little bit. And I have not added my egg noodles yet. We're going to wait until this has cooked for just a little while before the noodles are put in. But I am going to pop a lid on this. And we're going to bring this to a boil. When it starts boiling, we'll turn it down. While we're waiting for the soup to start boiling, I'm just going to throw this in there. You don't have to cook it on top of the stove. You can throw all of those ingredients in your crock pot, set it on low, and just let it simmer all day. It's that simple. So take your pick. You know, cooking for one, I'm not going to put it in the Instant Pot, but I'll cook it on top of the stove or in a crock pot. I have a small crock pot that I use sometimes, and it's great to cook it in there. Just let it simmer all day in the crock pot. That has come to a boil, so I'm going to turn the heat down. I'm going to turn it to low, and I'm going to put the lid back on, and we're just going to let that simmer for, oh, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. You can let it simmer all day if you want to. That doesn't really matter. You can cook it for however long you want to cook it for. You know, the longer the better to me, because those flavors just come out. But you're not going to put these noodles in. You're not going to put your noodles in until close to time that you're going to eat it, because you don't want those noodles to get soggy. And if they're in there for 3 hours, they're going to get soggy. So we're going to wait a little while, and then we'll put our noodles in. While we're waiting for this soup to come back up to a good boil, you know, because we've had it simmering, my carrots are fork tender. It smells wonderful. You got your chicken and your onions. The bay leaf is in there somewhere, so it's giving it a lot of rich flavor. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add a little bit of parsley. I'm not going to measure mine. I'm just going to put a little bit in. I may be adding a little bit more after the noodles are put in and cooked. I'll just check it and see. But we'll wait for that to come back to a boil. Okay, that's coming back to a boil, so we're going to add in our egg noodles at this point. And this is 3 ounces, or roughly about 2 cups. I'm going to add those in. Get them mixed up in there. I'm going to put my lid back on, and I'm going to let this boil for 6 to 8 minutes until those noodles are tender. I have tasted and adjusted for my seasoning, so I did add a little bit of salt to mine, and I did add a little bit more pepper. Keep in mind though, the homemade chicken broth that I had was not seasoned at all. It had no salt, pepper, anything in it. So I do that on purpose when I make it, so that I can use it for various recipes without it having too much salt or pepper in it. Our noodles are not quite done yet. They're getting close, but I am going to go ahead and I'm going to add some more parsley flakes in. It gives it added flavor, but it gives it a nice color. Get those added in. I'm going to put the lid back on, and we'll let that cook for about 3 or 4 more minutes. Okay, my chicken noodle soup is ready. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fish that bay leaf out, because I don't want to bite into that. Don't that look delicious? That's going to be so good. You can add more liquid in if you want to. You can add more water, or you can add more chicken broth. I like my soup thicker, so this is perfect for me. Gonna get some dished up. That gave me enough for a nice big bowl of chicken noodle soup. It smells delicious. And I have enough left that would make a great lunch or even another dinner. So that made enough for 2 servings. You can eat your soup however you like. You can eat it with saltine crackers, sourdough bread, a biscuit, a roll. I'm going to be eating mine with Toasted's Flatbreads Italian Herb. It's a cracker. And I think it'll go pretty good with the chicken noodle soup. I had them in the pantry. They need to be eaten. So that's what I'm going to eat with mine today. Keeping this within budget, I'm using what I have. This soup is absolutely delicious. It is packed full of flavor. And I've never eaten these crackers with chicken noodle soup before. But I'm here to tell you, these little crackers are really good with this soup. Really good with this soup. I'll have to keep that in mind the next time I eat chicken noodle soup. Thank you for watching today's video, cooking for one with a rotisserie chicken. I like to keep my costs low when I'm cooking for one. So a rotisserie chicken is a great way to go when you're trying to keep costs down. You get multiple meals from a rotisserie chicken when you're cooking for 1 or even 2 people. A lot of the meals I cook, you can have leftovers, like the chicken noodle soup. That will be enough for 2 meals. I hope you'll like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have subscribed, thank you so much. Please come back for another one. Leave me a comment below, and I'll do my best to comment back. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.